I liked how you guys reacted to the Paris Hilton stuff that just came up because we hadn't heard from her in a long time. I'm gonna
That's why I think it came up.
Yeah. Oh, and then we discovered that she has a new podcast, which I listened to and reviewed on Carl's show. Who are these podcasts? And it was.
I listened.
It's worse than you can imagine.
It was so funny. The clips that you guys pulled and were commenting on, just her complete lack of enthusiasm, personality, the fact that her podcast is a commercial for her. It's all it is. It's an infomercial for her and her dated stuff. When you were talking about her juicy couture,
the tracksuits,
tracksuits and things like that.
Some woman literally called in to be like, "Oh, I'm sick of wearing sweats for a year because of the lockdowns," and she's like, "Buy my juicy couture tracksuits." I'm like, "Those are also sweats."
Yeah, they're sweats. What are you doing? And she thinks saying that's hot is still a thing. That's hot.
Like, you're 40. Nothing's hot anymore.
Yeah, stop it.
The only thing hot. Imagine she gets old, a couple of years. She's like, "That's hot." Flashes. Yeah. I would love to see a menopausal Paris Hilton.
Flashes.
Yeah, she got angry and sad watching a clip of you guys. And I feel like you were the only one who really addressed it in a real way. Like, Opie was like, "Oh, I'm loving it." Like, he didn't. And then Jim, I feel like maybe more kind of ignored it, but it kind of made sense for his show. But you like really called it out. And it was so great because she's talking about how she earned everything she had or something like that.
Yeah. I have 7 companies that I run. It's like, no, you don't. You walk into some of these places that you probably don't even know existed. They have a camera rolling. You're like, "Oh, that's hot." And then you walk out, and that's her idea of running a company. Your name Hilton is on a bunch of buildings. If your name is on a bunch of buildings and it's actually your family's name, you didn't work to get everything you have. Sorry.
And you just have no idea to the degree to which you haven't had to work for it.
Yeah.
Like, put on a fat suit, put on a wig, and then show up somewhere and be like, "I'd like to start a business," and don't mention your last name. See how that goes.
Right. See how that works out for you.
And all it really was she just saying, "Oh, I worked, like I am a business owner," and then you were just like, you just scoffed. Was that really the extent of it?
Stop.
Yeah, you said
stop. Yeah, she didn't like that. It was degrading. Well, what was just maybe a little kind of mean-spirited back then has now evolved into being, of course, sexist and all kind of ist and phobic now. So they dredge these things up. That was just a passing, maybe a personal insult to her. She felt like I wasn't respecting her as a working woman.
Oh, God.
And now, of course, she has to come out and realize, because of everything that's going on today, that she could probably get some mileage out of claiming that she was somehow a victim of this toxic masculinity. Everyone can come out of the woodwork anytime they want and pull this garbage out. And that's what she was trying to do. And Opie was just like, he actually said recently on one of his casts, he goes, so Paris, I'd be willing to get on the phone, talk with you about this. And you just go,
oh no.
He wants her so bad as a guest on his show. Like, book her as a guest. Call her and
reach out
on your show if you want her on your show. Don't make it seem like, hey, I got something to say here and I'll tell it right to her face. Call me. Really?
Yeah, just have Brother Man reach out.
Brother Man.
And then one of her celebrity friends responded with calling you guys pathetic little men. They didn't deserve to have you sitting in that chair. I'm sorry you experienced it. Like, you guys were not pathetic little men. You were like kind of hosting like the biggest radio show of all time.
She gave us nothing.
Yeah.
She sat in that chair. That's literally all she did. She sat there expecting us to just adore her and plug everything that she was doing. And then she could walk out like another commercial. The second we started asking her about anything of substance with her life, anything maybe controversial because we're a shocky jockey show, she would clam up. Let's talk about that. Oh, Lindsay Lohan's a little crazy.
Like Michael Jackson a little bit.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that. I don't know.
I love all the little children.
Oh, look. Oh, a nursery school. That's hot.
Yeah, I feel like I can speak for comedians and chicks. It's like that's my number one least favorite thing is like, of course, when women like play the victim route to get attention, but like know the difference between like being a victim and not being able to like hang comedically or not being a good interview.
Boy. Yeah, that is a huge thing. It's so easy to blame something to make you the victim instead of having to face that you weren't that good, or the pressure of having to be good. It's just so much easier when you bomb at something to go, oh, it's because I'm this, that, the other thing, and because they were this ist or phobe. Because it takes a lot more bravery and courage to say, I guess it's me. And I have to work on it.
I guess I suck. I wasn't present. I wasn't honest. I wasn't in the moment. Like no one's expecting her to be hilarious. Like just be honest and present and like respond to things as they're asked. Don't like sit there with your sunglasses on, acting like she acted like she was better than the show. And then she's saying that, like in the moment she acted like she was better.
Yeah. If Paris Hilton could have 2 humorous anecdotes, just come up with 2 kind of funny, interesting stories.
She would have crushed.
You'll sit there looking pretty and telling your story, and people will laugh 10 times harder than they normally would.
Because they don't expect it.
If it was a slob sitting there.
Yeah.
And people will be like, oh my God, she was really good. Did you hear the story? It was funny. It was compelling. It was interesting. It had a beginning and an end. But no, she sits there wanting adoration just for the fact that she's who she is. And if you call her out on that, you're a piece of shit who now is a woman hater and a little man.
I guess if maybe she showed up, you guys should have all been wearing her tracksuits and like pink jumpsuits. With like
I was
juicy on your butt.
Yes, juicy plastered across Jim Norton's ass.
Like I want a juicy something else. Yeah, and it's just like you guys are shock jocks. That it's the deal. If she'd listened to the show at all, she'd be prepared. And also, there's something to it. Like the more guys in comics I get to know, it's also like the way you guys relate, like that ribbing and taking shots at each other. Like there's like something that's like male bonding, and that's not that's a victimless crime, really, just making fun of each other and like try to jump in that stream and swim along, or at least don't take a shit in the stream.
I swear it has to be. There has to have been in history a couple of caveman guys that a caveman came over with a new loincloth, and the other cavemen just started ripping them apart about how stupid it looks.
Like, you look gay.
Yeah. What are you, gay? What is that, saber-toothed tiger?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my wife is wearing the same thing. As he clubs her over the head. It really is a thing that guys have done and still do and will continue doing. And people think it's something that can be, washed out of a man's brain. It's part of the genetics. When guys get together, they will bust each other's balls. That's what they do. And that's why there isn't something calling busting your ovaries. It's busting your balls. Guys do it. And if a girl can get in there and hang out with guys, so be it. It's great. But if you can't, don't try to change something that's been in existence for millennia. Like
biology. And that's the thing.
Right.
It's like, and in the very beginning, like, you hang out, like, you're a slut. And at first you're like, but no, this is the deal. Like they're gonna take shots at you, and then like they'd be like, you're a slut. I'd be like, yeah, you're right. No.
Yeah. But it's true. Yeah. If and guys busting balls and a girl is there, and a girl, especially a comic, I think there's this expectation that they would know that this isn't serious, and they're not hating on you because you're a woman. It's a comic thing to do, and it's a guy thing to do in general.
Yeah, I would say the only like man's world, like, a lot of women will talk about like, oh, comedy is like a man's world or whatever. I would say that that's only true in the sense that there is that type of sense of humor or that type of ribbing going on, which maybe is more inherently male than female. But at the same point, it's like, if you're going to be a comic, you all should be able to joke like that. So I don't know. I think it's all kind of bullshit. And I just really hate seeing people take like the victim stance.
Yeah.
To get out of, oh, you just weren't that great,
Yeah, that's what it really is. To get out of, oops, I sucked.
Oops, I sucked.
Blame it.
Check out my new podcast in my new line at Macy's. It was so gross.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's hot, guys. I'm 40. It's still hot.
What trash. I know. It's not. It's like when you see moms getting on TikTok and dancing and stuff.
Everybody was kissing her ass, like every guest, every caller. Oh, I loved A Simple Life. And that's what I was like, oh no, not you too, Amy. Because like Amy Schumer's like, first of all, I loved it. She's like simping so hard, girl crushing. I get it. You can have a girl crush, but like she was just like, oh, you're so cool. Oh, it was so funny. It was such a funny show. I'm like, they're pushing it so hard that it was supposed to be like comedic. It's like, no, it really was like just them. And they're trying to get out of like any potential blowback from being like racist or condescending.
Yeah. They were making fun of people that were less fortunate than them.
Yeah.
And goofing on them. And they were coming off like blithering idiots that they are. So, let's talk about that. No, it's not hot.
Let's talk about my sweatpants.